In this video, we'll try and understand how to report the business income in ITR 4. That is, when you choose the presumptive taxation scheme. Let's try and understand this with the help of an example. Say the taxpayer's name is Mr. X. The type of income earned by Mr. X is a business income, who is a garments trader, and the total sales during the financial year 2024-25 is rupees 60 lakhs. Now there are two ways to calculate tax for business income. The first way is to calculate as per the normal provisions, and the second way is to calculate as per the presumptive taxation scheme, that is as per section 44 AD. Under the normal provisions, the total income or profits is calculated by reducing total expenses from the total sales. That is, in this case, you need to obtain the entire total expenses information as well as the total sales information from the taxpayer for filing the return. However, in the second method, the total income is calculated by simply multiplying a percentage to the total sales. That is, you just need to obtain the total sales details from the taxpayer and simply multiply it by 8% or 6%. Let's see what has Mr. X opted for, whether he wants to calculate income as per the normal provisions or the presumptive taxation scheme provisions. Okay, so Mr. X has opted for the presumptive taxation scheme. In this case, we'll be needing additional two details from Mr. X. And those are what amount of this 60 lakhs has been received in bank account and what amount has been received in cash. Let's see. Out of the above sales of 60 lakhs, 48,70,000 was collected via bank transfers or account pay checks. And the remaining amount, 11,30,000, has been received through cash mode or bearer checks. Let's move to the solution. The total sales is rupees 60 lakhs. Total sales through bank transfers is 48,70,000. Total sales through cash is 11,30,000. Now, since these figures have been identified, how do we calculate income? On all the bank transfers, that is all the sales that have been received directly in our bank accounts through bank transfers, we would apply 6% on the total sales. So on this 48,70,000, we would be simply multiplying 6%, which comes to 2,92,200. And for the sales that have been received through cash or through bearer check mode, we would apply 8%, which comes to 90,400. And the total income comes to 3,82,600. So the total sales is 60 lakhs, out of which 48,70,000 has been received through bank transfers and 11,30,000 has been received through cash. And the total income is 3,82,600. Now let's move to the income tax utility, that is the income tax return filing utility, which is the offline utility. Now viewers, I've already installed that utility on my desktop, so I'll be simply clicking on the shortcut icon on my desktop. In case you haven't installed it, we have a separate video for that. Do check out in the comment section. The link for that video has been shared in that comment section. Here it is. Continue. Click on file return and then follow the steps. Once you pre-fill the data, you arrive at this page. And the first thing that you need to do is you need to fill part A of the general section, which contains the personal information of the taxpayer, such as name, contact details, address, bank account details, as well as he or she wants to opt for the old tax regime or new tax regime. This option is also available in the Part A section of your income tax return. So first we need to fill this out. Once we are done with this, we then move to the second part, which is gross total income. Now we click on gross total income since we have already filled up the personal information tab. And under the schedule, income from business or profession, we click on edit. Now we move on to the presumptive income from business under section 44AD. We'll be clicking here since he's a trader in goods. In case of professional people, like people who are engaged in professional services such as interior designers, you would have chosen this option. But since he's a trader, we would be selecting 44AD, that is this option. We click on this and then click on add another. Say the business name is XYZ company. We'll mention that, and we mention the business code depending upon the nature of the business. In our case, since he's a retail businessman, we'll click on this option. And under the description tab, we'll be mentioning garments trader. And then we save it. Show the details further. And then here we add the details. Gross turnover or gross receipts means the total sales. Now in point A, we'll be mentioning all those sales that have been realized through bank transfers or through account paycheck. In our case, it was 48,70,000. And in cash, it was 11,30,000. We'll mention it in point B. Now, the total sales has been auto-calculated. Now, on 48,70,000, we had multiplied it by 6%, which comes to 2,92,200. This is fine. And then on this 11,30,000, we multiplied it by 8%, which comes to 90,400. So the total income, as we had calculated, is 3,82,600. We save it. Now, once we are done, we click on confirm. Now let's move to the next tab. After we are done with filling of these sales details and the income details, we'll have to furnish some other details of the business as well. So these are the details that need to be filled. We'll have to fill these figures. Now these figures in which we find 0 as auto-populated, these figures will have to be compulsorily mentioned. That is, in case we don't have other figures available with us, it's still okay. But all these figures, all these items with figure 0 next to it will have to be compulsorily filled, and we'll have to report these figures. However, it's advisable to fill all the figures in case available. The details of the sundry creditors, details of inventories, details of sundry debtors, as well as the cash in hand. All these details will have to be filled up compulsorily. And once these are filled, we click on save. Since the details are not available with us in our example, we are just saving it as it is. But in your case, you will have to fill these details, as these are compulsorily required to be mentioned. This has to be done in the disclosure exempt income tab. Then there's another important place, that is another important schedule that you need to fill. That is the information regarding turnover or gross receipt reported from GST. In this, you will have to mention your GSTN number, that is the GST number in case you are a registered taxpayer under GST scheme, that is the under GST legislation. You need to mention your GSTN number here. Along with that, you'll have to mention the total sales as per the GST returns that you had already filed. Since Mr. X in our example does not have a GST registration number, so I am not filling any details. But in your case, if your taxpayer is a GST registered dealer, the details will have to be provided herein, and then save it. So this is how we fill up the business income schedule in case the taxpayer has a business income and opts for the presumptive taxation scheme and files ITR 4. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more videos.